And I'm about to share my screen. Okay, welcome everyone to the week 2 of 6 Weeks to Success. Glad you're here. We have 20 people on this call. You made it to week 2. So great job for everybody. Wasn't that call on the products absolutely amazing? Both Joe and Christina shared so many great tips in selling ideas. So let's take a moment to share a few of them that you really liked. You can unmute yourself to share just your thoughts on what you learned. So we'll take a few minutes and let whoever would like to unmute themselves. So go ahead if you have something to share, something you learned from listening to that audio file. Is there anybody that would like to share? You can just up in the corner by your picture, you can just hit unmute. And we'll only
I'd like to say that she said, don't be a catalog holder or hoarder, I should say.
Ah, so what does that mean to you?
It means it's worth spending the money on the catalogs and not hoard them and give them up to, it's going to increase your sales because they can mark in the book and actually like use it. I think they could take it home and show their friends and maybe upsell some stuff for you.
You know, I always say that's a great idea. And once, when I first started as a Pampered Chef consultant, someone took my catalog and left it in a doctor's office, and I got a great show out of it. So yes, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Obviously, if people are going to take it home and throw it out, you don't want them to do that. But, you know, that's great. Great tip. Thank you.
Also, I like the benefits, know your benefits and know your features of the products to help the customer buy them, tell them the benefits that they would get from it.
Yeah, I think that's true. So what kind of benefits?
Like what kind? It depends on the product that they're buying. Some can be time saving.
Okay, go ahead.
Some can be like time saving. Some can make it where it cooks faster, cuts it up a lot easier for them. It depends on the product.
Right. So a benefit is how it's going to make their lives better. The features are what are the things that make it work. So benefits are always good if we're thinking of other people. That's great, Chantel.
Thank you.
I really liked whenever she was talking about sending the e-recipe books, if they got one of the products, just to have it there so it's tangible that they can see it, because emailing a file is great, but whenever they can actually feel what they're getting for free, that's always a bonus.
That is a great hint. And you know, if you really want to, you could also offer to print one out for them, but obviously that's your own thing. But that is a great thing. Anyone else?
I liked how she put Post-it notes on all the pages with the discounted prices and the tips and tricks and all that stuff of all the different items and the cross-selling items she had in the catalog as she went.
That is great, because I'm one of the kind of people that if someone says something 60% off, I don't immediately figure it out. It's nice to be able to know exactly what that is. So good. Is there anyone else? Okay, well then, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Carol Baricki, and I am a director with Pampered Chef, and I am in Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm friends with Sarah Warfel, and I've done this program before. And so in Grand Rapids right now, it's 9:35. But I've been a director for about almost 9 years. So I'm hoping that we can get some good ideas and share them tonight, and let's keep going. So thank you again for the tips you shared, and I'll give you some chances later to ask some questions. So now that you have some amazing selling skills under your belt, you'll be able to start sharing these ideas when you're at your shows. Also, when you're out and about. So it's really natural right now in our second week to talk about bookings and prospecting next. It's super easy to share what you're excited about once you're educated on it. You have the products that will change people's lives. Do you guys all love our new fall products? Thumbs up if you do. So did you know that families who eat together have children who do better on the SATs, they have better interviewing skills, are less promiscuous, less apt to do drugs, smoke, or drink, all because they ate dinner together? And I can tell you from personal experience that this is true. I always tried to, I have 4 children, they're all grown up, and we all ate at least one meal together every day, especially in the busy times when they got into high school. So when you know information like that, it's hard not to share what you know. How does it make you feel to know that you're having an impact on future generations just by going to work? If anyone wants to just quick say something, you can unmute yourself and say, tell me how you feel about that. Anybody? Okay, well, thumbs up if you think it's a great idea. How's that? I think it's a great idea. Okay. So instead of being scared, who's scared when you go out and you have to talk to strangers? Does anybody feel really comfortable about that? I see some hands. But it's easy to share when you're out and about. You can wear PC logo wear, carry a PC bag, or a tote, which those are, they have the new totes at conference where you can actually put a catalog in it. And I've never done this, but maybe Jennifer Courtney, who designed this program, did. If you're really bold, you can wear your apron to the grocery store. But it never hurts to always be carrying either PC mini catalogs or one of our season's best when you're finding a recipe, an ingredients for a recipe. So for instance, when you're in the brownie aisle, carry the Naughty Brownie recipe cards and give them away. I know, I know what you're all thinking. Wait, what? You want me to talk to people in the store, out and about? Are you crazy? I'm not crazy. Well, maybe a little bit, but you gotta love me. And that is Jennifer Courtney talking. So if you know her, and I do, she is out there doing this. But anywhere there are people that have to eat, right? How many of you struggled with dinner before you got into Pampered Chef? How many of you stared at the cabinet or the fridge? Oh, I see some thumbs. Hoping that something would jump out for your dinner. So did all the people you're surrounded by. I think of it as being selfish if we don't share all the things we know. So we're going to give you some words to say. For instance, you could say, "Hi, is that a good brownie mix brand? I'm making this recipe tonight to try out." And then you show them the recipe that you happen to have with you in your purse. Do you think this is a good brand? Have you heard of the Pampered Chef? And of course they'll say, "I love the Pampered Chef." I know. So when was the last time you have been to a party? Would you like a product flyer? And a lot of times they'll say yes. I'd love to follow up with you to see what you think about the new products. Can I get your information? And this is a very critical thing, because it's really, if you talk to somebody about Pampered Chef and they say, "Oh, I like Pampered Chef," and you hand them something and you don't get their information, there's no way you're ever going to hear from them. You have to take the ball in your court and call them. So it's great to get their information. So you can use the drawing slips. I take them, I have them in my purse. You could use a Post-it note. I know that Jennifer Courtney has an actual form that she prints on Post-it stickers, pretty much like the drawing slip. But here's the thing. If you get someone's information, you must call within 24 to 48 hours or throw away the lead, because people lose interest every day, and even more when they've only met you instead of at a party. Now, one thing that I will say is, if you are giving them, getting their information, you want to be excited about what you're doing. So if you get their information, you can say, do you mind if I call you? I could send you a full-size catalog. A lot of times people will say, sure. And if you don't want to actually say, can I get your information? You can just say, would you like it if I send you a catalog? That way you can get everything you need from them without, going far out on a limb. So in the checkout lane, you might say, I can't wait to try these brownies at home. Don't they look amazing? And then when she asks about them, you can say, have you ever heard of Pampered Chef? And then, of course, people always say, I love the Pampered Chef. When's the last time you've seen a catalog? Here's a copy of our latest spring products. That could be a mini catalog. Those are very helpful. They fit in your purses. Check out this veggie spiralizer, or our new fluted pans that come in either a set of 6 or one big one. I would love to follow up with you and see what you think about our new products. So give them the door price slip, and can I get your information so I can follow up with you? And great, thanks so much. You just have to be real. And yes, sometimes it's scary to talk to strangers, but if you find some common ground with them first, it's a lot easier. Now, if they get really excited about the products, then ask them if they'd like to have a show and get them all for free. It is truly that easy. Sharing is just caring about the people around you and having a conversation. When you start seeing it as a service instead of a chore, it will become much more fun and easy for you to do. Prospecting when you're out and about is nothing more than a friendly conversation. You also want to be prepared when someone asks, what do you do? You don't want to be fumbling around coming up with words that describe what you do. So you want to be prepared with your 20-second commercial. So rather than saying, I sell Pampered Chef, you could say, I help create mealtime memories with quality tools and tasty recipes. I show busy families how to get dinner on the table in less than 30 minutes. I help people realize that cooking can be fun when you have the right tools. I help people discover their inner Rachel Ray. All of these are designed for people to then ask you, what do you do? Oh, I'm with Pampered Chef. Have you heard of Pampered Chef? That is their response 99% of the time. I love the Pampered Chef. I'm so glad that I'm not a lawyer, because no one ever says, oh, I love lawyers. They just don't. So those are some great ways to go out. You could just get in a conversation with someone and ask them what they're doing for dinner tonight, and it can morph into a conversation about Pampered Chef. So that is one way to get contacts who ultimately might become bookings. But let's also talk about how you get bookings at your shows, because bookings are the heart of your business. The magic number is 2. You never want to close a party without 2 bookings. 2 cooking and 1 catalog would even be better. You have to have 1 show to replace the one you just did, and you have to have 1 show to grow your business. A catalog and a virtual party is gravy on your paycheck if you have a 3rd one. In order to get 2 bookings, you have to try a few things to do that. So there is a huge list coming up on the next screen, and I'll try to go over it with you, but we can also post it afterwards. So number 1, To get bookings at shows, you have to host coach effectively. And we're going to be covering that next week. Number 2, you need to show up on time. Now, what I mean by on time is at least 45 minutes to a half hour ahead of time. Some consultants even get there an hour before, so that you'll be already set up, you'll be ready to go when the show starts, and you can spend some time greeting people, talking to them, finding out how they know your host, starting to build a relationship with the guests that are at the party. Sometimes they might not even know that you're a Pampered Chef consultant. But, kind of talk to them a little bit, because if people have some kind of a relationship started with you, if they know you're a nice person, they're going to be more willing to hear what you say when you say it at the show, and maybe believe what you say. Number 3, you should make sure all your dishes are clean. Sometimes you take dishes to a show and either someone else washes them, or you forget to wash something and you open up your bag, and if you have something that's really dirty, that's going to be very embarrassing. So you want to always make sure everything that you bring to your show is clean. Make sure you're appropriately dressed. So I say, if you're going to dress up for a show, be one step above everybody else. Be professional. You can wear nice clothes, make sure you smell good. If you're working out in the yard all day, make sure that you take a shower. You want to come across as somebody they want to buy from. And if you are all grungy with, holy jeans or something like that, people aren't going to be interested. There'll be some people there it'll turn them off. So just make sure that you are just professionally dressed, and it makes you feel better about your business too. Talk about the high price products to create desire beyond budget. So what does that mean? What that means is, if you have people at your show that are looking at the rock crock or the deep covered baker or the grill pan, and a lot of times they're thinking to themselves, there's no way I can afford that. If you talk about it and throw in a little disclaimer, if you really love this and you host a show, you can get it for free or half price. I always try to throw that in somewhere in my show, because the higher price things are why people book shows. So make sure you talk about them. And in the audio you just listened, they did talk about knowing your products, talking about the higher price ones. The lower price ones will sell themselves. So make sure you always talk about 1 or 2 of them. I like to talk about 3 at my show. So, and then make your host feel special and appreciated. Be sure you acknowledge her at the beginning of the show. I usually give a season's best to my host, and I say this is one of the many benefits she's about to receive. Go over bookings in your intro and in your demo. One thing that I have started to use is the little coupons that go over all the host benefits for a $800 show, which is 165 free, 4 half price items, 30% off anything else you buy, of course the host benefit, and the the discount 10% for a year, and then the booking benefit if someone books for a show. If you make up these little coupons and hand them out, you have the person think of their favorite store. What's their favorite store they like to shop at, and you hand them out in that way and say, okay, if they say my favorite store is Target, and you say, well, I have these coupons for Target, and you hand them out, and they're all really this is a lot of stuff. And then I turn to the back of the catalog next and say, and this is what you would get if you have an $800 show, which can be done if you have 10 to 12 people at your own show. Usually when I hand out those catalogs, I only pick one person. That person always books a show, which is really weird, but it does. And there might be a few other ones. But you can see people thinking about it while you're doing the rest of your demo. Use the door price slip and walk them through the boxes and tell them to check yes. I would advise not handing that out right at the beginning. I would actually take some time, maybe after you do your demo, to hand them out personally and talk to people about all the questions on it. because women in general will always put no, 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 no for every question on a form. And I can't tell you how many times somebody will come up to me with a door prize slip with all no's, and I will end up getting a booking, or they might be interested in the business, and they check no, but they still do it once you talk to them about it. So if you hand them out and talk about them, sometimes you're going to get more maybes and yeses. Do the 3-pile checkout, and what that is you ask every single guest about the business. You also ask every single guest about booking a show, and also the other pile would be just thanking them for coming, maybe giving them a recipe card or something like that. You want to ask first if they're interested in the business, because if they say no, they might be more likely to say yes if you ask them to host a show. And if they say no to a cooking show, ask them if they're interested in a catalog show or a virtual party, whatever you're willing to do. If you don't want to do a virtual party, you don't have to. But catalog shows, really, most of the work is on the host, as you all maybe know. So if they definitely don't want to do a cooking, you might be able to get them to do a catalog show. Well, could you hand out your catalogs to a couple people, or could I bring a dessert to your work and we hand out catalogs? Sometimes you can save a booking that way. You could also ask if they know someone who would really love to have a party. Sometimes they do. The other thing you can do is be sure to tell your host that she will get 50% off at any party booked for them, and tell her ahead of time so that she can get somebody booked way ahead of time before you even have your party. You could offer an incentive to the guest or the host, such as when the host gets 3 bookings, you'll have a little bag with some Pampered Chef product in it. You could, when you're looking for bookings and you're really struggling, you could put a little prize in a bag, like a mini nylon serving spatula or something. Put 3 sticky notes with your next 3 dates and tell your people at the show, whoever, if all those sticky notes are gone, then the host gets this little prize inside. There's lots of different booking ideas like that if you're really working hard to do it. Obviously, telling them the benefits of booking is definitely the best. You could also say, when you book your show, I'll bring the ingredients for a molten lava cake, which most people like that. Be sure you know about your products when you're doing the demo to keep the interest in purchasing or booking. So if you're a new consultant, learn about the products that you're demonstrating so that you sound like you know something. People really trust you, but you can also utilize other people at the show. For instance, if you were using the Deep Covered Baker, you could say, who here has this? What do you like about it? Or if it's your host that wants it, you can say, how will this help you? Your host will help you sell the products if that's something she wants. Smile a lot and have fun. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I always say, I'm the pampered chef, not the perfect chef, because sometimes I totally forget to put ingredients in, and then I bring it up, because if you're standing up there, the essence of perfection, nobody's going to want to do what you're doing. And no one wants to book a show with Eeyore, but they will book a show with Tigger. Have your calendar ready and have some dates circled or clear so that you can book dates right at your show. That's one of the most important things I can say. As you're talking to someone, I will usually say, have you ever thought about hosting your own party? I have these dates available in September, and I could come to your house. We could get a couple friends together. You can actually have host packets to give them right then. And a lot of times people say, well, I do want to do one, but not right now. And I always say, well, would you be interested in doing one in the next 6 months? And generally people will go, well, yeah, I think in the next 6 months I would. I said, well, your host will get benefit. Will get the host benefit if you do it within the next 6 months. What do you think? How about November? Would that, you come up, or have them come up with a date and write it right down on their order form or write it on a piece of paper and give it to them. If it's something that's coming up in the next couple of months, you can give them a host packet if you know what all the specials are. And just tell them what I usually say. If it's beyond 3 months, as I say, I'll put you down for some random date in December. I will call you a month before, and hopefully we can get a firm date. Don't be afraid to tell me if this date doesn't work anymore, but at least we can help your host get something for 50% off. So, and if they don't pick their date right there at that night, try to get in touch with them within 2 days after the show is done, before it closes, obviously. Now, one thing Jennifer suggested is you text both the potential and current host at the same time, and she said, yes, that's sneaky. One of the things I also do is I send a day after email and talk about that there's opportunities for hosting, and here are some of my dates if you haven't talked to them at the show, but it's good to do that. Okay, start saying on the way to the party, I will get 2 cooking and 1 catalog show bookings today. I am a booking magnet. Everyone wants to book a show with me. Stop saying I wish and start saying I will. We talked about the belief system last week, and we were challenging you to strengthen your system so much that your belief in our 3 opportunities exudes from you. The opportunity to purchase, the opportunity to book a show, and the opportunity to join one of the fastest growing teams in the Midwest. When you wake up, the first thing you should think of, whose life will I change today? This week, we want you to look at your passion behind this company's booking opportunity. You've got to believe we have the best thing ever, and be so completely passionate that you can't help booking a ton of parties. Are you passionate at your parties? Are you passionate about your products? Can they tell that you're in love with the products? Can they tell you when you talk about bookings how much fun it's going to be and how crazy it's going to be not to have one? Can you paint a picture so clear that they have to join your team or book a show? So here we are again. Who loves Pampered Chef? You can say yes. I see some hands. Okay, are you passionate about our products? Are you passionate about booking shows? Are you passionate about sharing our business and helping other people? Whether you are or whether you're not, it shows. If you do not feel passionate, how can you find your passion? Attend the national conference. I know many of you did. Go through PCU again. Watch the YouTube videos that we tell you about. You can watch them anytime. Play with your tools, attend your team meetings, listen to training calls, find a Batter Bowl buddy to keep you accountable, find a fair or booth to work so you can hear how much everyone loves Pampered Chef. Come to a recipe night, find a PC mentor. Does anybody have any questions? I know we're getting close to 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, depending on where you are. But this week, your homework is to listen to Abundant Bookings with Susan Warshay and Missy Elletts. I'm not sure if it's on PCU anymore, so I'll make sure that we paste the link to it on the page. I'll double check before. This link might take you there, and I'll make sure I put it on the Facebook page. So that is what you need to listen to, and you do want to tell your director 5 things that you learned from it, and then you want to tell us how many shows you'll commit to booking, how many out and abouts will you commit. One of the things Jennifer Courtney says is when she talks to people, and she says, I was challenged by my director to hand out 10 mini catalogs this week, so would you like one? So we challenge you right now, hand out something that has your Pampered Chef information and something from Pampered Chef. Set up a follow-up call with your recruiter to discuss these things and how many leads you got, how many bookings you get, what were your sales, what did you have trouble with, what's one brag that you have. So I'm going to give you a chance if anyone has a question right now to just unmute yourself. Rather than me unmute everybody, I'm just going to have you unmute yourself up in the right-hand corner of your picture. You can do that if anyone has any questions right now. Anybody?
Can you put your slide presentation on the Facebook thing? All
Yes,
of them?
we'll do that. We will do that.
Thank you.
Yes, for sure. Anyone else? Okay. I want to, hopefully I can find this. I'm going to look for something really quick. No.
Next, we have Tammy Tring. She's going to do her best.
Does anybody else have any?
Amber Tring. Yeah, that was something. Just
Anyone else? All right. I want to thank you all for attending tonight, and I hope that you enjoyed the presentation, and certainly talk to one of us if you have any questions at all, and we'll get this posted, and plus the homework link we will as well. So thank you, everyone. Have a great night, and it was nice seeing you all, even though I can't see all of you. It looks like we're ending up with 26 people on, so thanks for being here.
Thank you, Carol.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right.